most of the conventional marketing advice that you will get out there, and honestly, most of the model that I taught for years was personal brand driven model, which is basically business is about getting clear in your niche, so who your people are. And then once you figure that out, your entire marketing funnel, your content, your personal brand that you create is basically built around that. So my business exists to serve a specific group of people and build a personal brand. I build an online presence. It's basically designed to speak to those people, their pain points, their desires, their dreams, their goals, basically draw those people to me and make them want to work with me. This is the conventional model of marketing. So you kind of fit yourself into the niche is another way of saying it. And I've created a lot of success with this model. It's also helped a lot of my clients create a lot of success in their businesses. And it's not that this model doesn't work. The issue is it works until you get up to about 450 level of energy. And then it falls apart. And the reason it falls apart is because it feels like a performance. And that performance becomes less and less tolerable the higher and higher you go up the scale. So where the cracks start to show is you feel like you're not really being who you are because everything that you're doing is really just about fitting yourself into this box. And for years, this is what I was doing. And every time I would write a post, I'd be like, okay, well, I need to kind of fit my story into like the pain points. So I kind of use my story as a way to talk about the pain points. I'd be like, I used to really struggle in my business and things were horribly wrong. And then I discovered this magic framework and now I'm making all this money and I'm so successful and you can do it too. And it just became this like performance of me basically telling the world what I thought the world needed to hear in order to buy from me. And I think for particularly for folks who are in a higher level consciousness, this doesn't really work very well. It's not that this doesn't work. It's not that you can't create success from this model of business, but particularly at higher levels of consciousness, the model of business completely changes. And when we're bridging from intellectual to an intuitive, the rules look very different. The thing that actually creates success in a business at intuitive consciousness, this is these scribbles. I'm like, this doesn't even look readable. That says intuitive consciousness. The thing that actually creates success at intuitive consciousness is very different than what creates success in intellectual consciousness. The thing that creates success in intellectual consciousness, well, let me say this. So at willful consciousness is about how hard you work. Because the model of willful consciousness is basically just do more to grow. So if you're doing, 3 pieces of content a day, if you go to 6 pieces of content a day, your business is going to grow. If you go to 9 pieces of content a day, your business is going to grow. That's the model of success at willful consciousness. So this is all about basically doing more. At intellectual consciousness, the way that you create success is through systems that create leverage. So it's how do I build team and build automation and scale and leverage my time through things like marketing funnels that do my selling for me and webinars, and how do I communicate one to many, and how do I operationalize my business so that I can basically turn it into a machine that is disconnected from my time. So I basically get more value out of my time. It's the model that creates success at intellectual consciousness. The model that creates success at intuitive consciousness is how do I show up in a way that is so embodied, so present, so grounded, so magnetic that I create a field of resonance that draws people to me, that literally magnetizes through my being. And in some ways, it's the simplest business model. And in other ways, it's actually the most challenging. Like this is like the Jesus model of business. Jesus was like the best marketer in the world. Right? You look at like 2,000 years later, like, we've got like churches all around the world. Like his literally his like his face is everywhere, you know? You think he was thinking about like conversion rates? He was like, how do I get my more, how do I optimize my funnel so like I get more people to show up to my sermons? He wasn't thinking about any of that, right? What did Jesus do? He was like so radiant and so present and so peaceful that people experienced him and they were just drawn to him, right? There was this sense of like, I don't even know what you're offering, what you have, but there's something about your energy, your being, the way that you show up in the world that just like feel called to it. At this level of consciousness, what you're really reflecting back to people is their deepest truth. It's the part of them that is deeper than the mind. So the part of them that is who they really are. And when we see other people that are embodied in that, that are connected to that in the world, it's like we have this part of us that's like everybody has this part of us that's just like it's like a magnet to that because it's like we all want that whether we realize it or not. And so when you see somebody else who's reflecting that back to you, there's just a part of you that's just like drawn to them, that's magnetized to them. This is what creates success at intuitive consciousness in a business. So the old model of business, and I won't even say the old model of business. I would say the model of business that works willful and intellectual consciousness is you figure out what your niche is, you build a business around that. The model of business that works at intuitive consciousness is you build an energetic field. What the heck does this mean? Basically, rather than starting with the niche, you start with you. This is a business that is built around you. It's not that you don't have specific people that you help with specific problems or desires, but the actual expression of the business is really you as a channel, which means you show up, you create content much more from this place of like, what do I feel like wants to move through me right now? What do I feel inspired to share? What kinds of offers just feel like I'm like they're wanting to be birthed through me? You basically open yourself up to become a channel and to allow the universe to create and move through you. When you do this, your content carries a completely different frequency. And you start creating content that people can actually feel. Because this is basically an intellectual performance. When you're creating a personal brand driven business, there's no life force in it, or there's generally very little life force energy in it because you like everything you do is so intellectualized that it doesn't carry the like living embodied frequency that pulls people to you. But when you're creating an energetic field business, basically you show up, you're like, what do I want to talk about? I have no plans. I don't know what I'm going to say. I create when I feel inspired. I share when I have something to talk about. I wait for that moment that God's like, here's the thing. And it just flows through me in like 20 seconds. And then I post it. I have no idea really what I'm going to sell or when I'm going to sell it. I wait for the moment when, God tells me what to do. And then I do it. So rather than creating your business around other people, you create it around you. This is a business that really is built around frequency, embodiment, being, presence. The way that this business grows is it's actually quite simple.